What are you at? It's Paul from Wicked Acorn. It's a gray, rainy day today in Sale. I think it stopped raining, but it's still gray. And we're going to continue our chat about Sam Ryder and the Ryder Cup. But the title on this video, as of going live, is The Worst Day in British History. And that has nothing to do with the Ryder Cup. I like to do a This Day in History before we get started. And there are a lot of candidates for the worst day in British history, but this is one of the top ones for me. August 4th, 1914. Early on the morning of 4th of August, the Germans invaded, and Albert I of Belgium called for assistance under the Treaty of London. Britain sent Germany an ultimatum demanding they withdraw from Belgium. When this expired at midnight without a response, the two empires were at war. So today in history, Britain joined the First World War, and the First World War is definitely one of the worst things that ever happened to the world, but Britain for sure. And it really devastated the nation. It was the beginning of the end of the British Empire, and it was the end of my former nation, that being Newfoundland. Newfoundland was part of the British Empire, and the First World War was devastating to Newfoundland. It led to the demise of the country as a standalone country, and after the Second World War, we ended up joining Canada, and it's a sad day, August 4th, 1914. But like I said, there are lots of candidates for the worst day in British history, and this is just one of them. And yeah, it's the First World War was absolute rubbish. I wanted to use stronger words, but don't want to be demonetized or kicked off YouTube. Yeah, it's and the effect on Manchester and Greater Manchester was also devastating. I'm sure on the 4th of August, there were a lot of young fellows waving their hats in the air. Yay, we're finally at war, but they quickly learned that it wasn't what they signed up for. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about Sam Ryder. Oh, actually, there's a couple other things. Yesterday, the 3rd of August, was there were several anniversaries there. It was the anniversary of the Walton Wimpy, the Wellington bomber that crashed in Walton Park on the night of August 3rd in 1943. Don't know. There's a video about it. I'll try and link those videos in the description of this video after the live stream. And another anniversary is John Lee, and his history is certainly intertwined with the First World War. It kind of defined the man. He was a wonderful philanthropist here in this area, John Lee Park, I'm sure some of you know about. And my volume needs bringing up. Okay, I can do that. Thank you, baby, with the laser. Okay, I have turned up my volume. Is that better? Yeah, so where was I? I've forgotten where I was. Oh, John Lee. Yeah, John Lee Park. And anyway, there's a couple of videos that I put out yesterday about John Lee. And yeah, he was a wonderful philanthropist. I don't know his feelings on the First World War. Um, he donated a lot of money to soldiers coming back from the war, military hospitals and things like that. So he was really involved with helping out the veterans, and he donated a lot of money to the war effort. But I don't know if that was post or during the war, more, I don't know if he was, buying airplanes and things like that. So I don't know what his feelings were on the war itself, but he did a fantastic job helping out the guys coming back from the war. The Sale Cottage Hospital that some people will know of was the only hospital. There was one other in London that specialized in people with shell shock, or neurasthenia, as the doctors called it, because shell shock was had a very stigma attached to it, and he certainly had a lot of sympathy for the guys coming back from the First World War, from the front, and what a great guy. He seems like he was a really great guy. But that's enough about this day in history. Let's get to what we're here to talk about today, which is the Ryder Cup. Darren, thank you, Darren. Good. When I respond, like out of context there, I'm responding to comments. So please leave a comment if you're in the live stream here. That's what it's all about. And those of you watching it afterwards, when I say things completely out of context, I might be responding to a comment on the live stream. Today, we're going to look at the maybe the last part of the Ryder Cup reconnaissance video. I don't know if we'll get through it, but we'll have a go there. And this might be the reconnaissance video, depending on how time works out here. So I'll just roll the clip here. And there's the back of their house and their shed, I guess, or I don't know what they would have called it, but another outbuilding. So if you didn't see the other videos leading up to this one, there were two others before that. You can find them on the channel there. We're on Wharf Road here, down across from the Leisure Centre. And this is the Ryder family home, a house called Stowey. Building there. So Samuel Ryder Sr. is buried, his mother as well, buried in St. Martin's churchyard. And just down this way is Worthington Park. And when I was looking through Samuel Ryder Jr.'s biography, it says that his father designed one of the most beautiful parks in Sale. Samuel Sr., it's difficult because they both have the same name. Samuel Sr. became a member of the Royal Horticultural Society, and I think he died in 1905. And Worthington Park, I figure Worthington Park is the park he designed. Although the designers are named in the history of the park, and it's not Samuel Ryder. He's not mentioned in the history of the park, but it must be him. So I imagine he had something to do with, the design of the flower beds and choosing the flowers and things like that, and the architectural firm or whoever it was that gets credit for designing the park were, they did the layout of the park, and I guess Sam Ryder was more responsible for the choice of flowers and the layout of the beds and things like that. It can only be Worthington Park. It only says one of the most beautiful parks in Sale. It can only be Worthington Park because the rest of the parks are after his death, and so it can only be Worthington Park. And it's interesting that we have a little assortment of seeds and flowers right next to their family home. So there's his biography really doesn't go into a lot of detail about Samuel Ryder's early life here in Sale. He just mentions things and doesn't go into detail a lot about them, because Samuel Ryder is famous for the Ryder Cup, and that's where they want to get. They want to get to the Ryder Cup. It's a book for people that are into golf, I guess, more than anything. The history of the man behind the Ryder Cup, and that's what he's famous for. I think the real fame, of course, man had several siblings. I don't recall how many off the top of my head. There was like 4 or 5 of them, I think. And someone mentioned Ryder, I can't remember, Ryder Coffee Shop, was it, on the road? And he was a relative of Samuel Ryder. His sister was involved with the Pankhursts and the suffragette movement. I guess her children wouldn't be called Ryder, but yeah, he had a few siblings. He had a brother who took over the local seed business, the gardening business, from his father, and Sam Ryder moved to St. Albans and started his own gardening business. Yeah, so there are definitely descendants. So could be freezing and glitching. Fantastic. So yeah, as you can see, we had some glitching there, and thanks, Darren, for hanging in there and pointing it out. We get the stream going again, so if you're ever watching live and this happens, I will try and restart the stream, I guess, if time permits, which is what we do here now. Well, are we back? Let me see. We might be back. I don't think this was something on my end. I think it's just crummy internet out in the world today. It's the wrong kind of leaves on the internet. All right, so we're back, and I guess we'll pick up where we left off. If anybody wants to rejoin there, this really throws a. That's a funny one. I was gonna say throws a monkey wrench in it, which you don't say here. You say throw a spanner in the works. And when I was a kid, I was still really into the Beatles, but when I was a kid really into the Beatles, learning about the Beatles, long time no see. Is it any better there, Darren? I was just going to say that threw a monkey wrench into it, and I was talking about, you guys don't say that. You say a spanner in the works. And when I was a kid, I started getting into the Beatles, and John Lennon's second book was called A Spaniard in the Works, which is a pun on Spanner in the Works, of course, which I didn't get. I didn't get that at all. that pun was lost on me, because we don't say Spanner in the Works. We say monkey wrench. Yeah, we don't say Spanner in the Works. You throw a monkey wrench in it. Although we do say spanner, but we don't throw spanners in the works. We throw monkey wrenches. Okay, well, Darren, thanks for coming back, and I'll go back to where we were. So I'll just skip ahead here. I know we did that. We were about to go into B&M there, weren't we? Yeah, the Worthington Park just got a blue plaque, so I need to do a video about that, because we did a video to the blue plaques of sale, and so that needs to be updated, doesn't it? Because Worthington Park just got a blue plaque. And earlier in the video I was talking about Samuel Ryder Sr. It says in Samuel Ryder Jr.'s biography, it says that his father designed one of the most beautiful parks in Sale. If that's true, it can only be Worthington Park, because by my deduction, all the parks other than Worthington Park were built after Samuel Ryder Sr. died. So if anybody knows anything about that, if anybody's seen any tidbit of information on that, that'd be nice to hear. Elemental, my dear Whopper. Yeah. John had a way with words, didn't he? Okay. Seeds and flowers right next to their family home. Don't know if they sell seed packets here at B&M. I have to go in, so we'll have a look anyway. Yes, they do. So yeah, can you believe the seed packet was invented right next door here? But they were only a penny a packet. And that's really the thing that made Ryder seeds so popular. It brought it to the masses. So he can't really get the credit for inventing it, because it was invented by the Shakers in America, apparently, get the credit for inventing it. And it was a couple of decades before Ryder came up with the idea. So I don't know if it's a matter of, what do they call that, when things evolve in different places at the, not at the same time necessarily, but the words I'm looking for is convergent evolution. Convergent evolution, like sharks and whales, or sharks and dolphins, completely unrelated, but look very similar. You know, they've evolved for the same purpose. They're streamlined. They both look like fish, don't they? But a dolphin, of course, isn't a fish. Not related at all, but it evolved the same way. It looks the same. Convergent evolution, and that's what I'm talking about there. People come up with the same idea, even though it's not related. So Sam Ryder may have come up with the idea of a seed packet. It's so crazy, the seed packet, that the seed packet was invented. This is, I think I'm right in saying that Sharson Hall was the home of the Worthington family. It was knocked down around the late 80s. Yeah, it's something I haven't looked into the history of Worthington Park in a long time. I know she was a widow when she donated the park, and there was some story about her husband. Um, yeah, it's something. It's something I'll look into when I do the blue plaque for Worthington Park. Um, but this is not one of the Ryder and Son Sale Manchester seed packets. This is one I made up for the video, and it's a vintage print. I found these prints. There's a whole bunch of these I have here, different ones I made up. I even did aging on a couple of them to make them look like I found them in the shed. I don't know what I'm going to do there. This anyway, you'll see that soon enough. But these are vintage prints from the same time period. Of these are ones I aged. So they look very faded and they're yeah, I don't know what they look like. This is my interpretation of it. I mean, they might have been just a plain brown envelope, and it's so crazy that the seed packet had to be invented, but that's it. Seeds were sold in sacks. You bought a sack of seeds. You didn't buy a little packet of seeds. You bought a sack of them. And I don't know how these things worked, right? Like, I guess back in the day you would, like now, you know, your friends would give you seeds and give you cuttings and things like that. And there was no real way to get seeds other than to buy a sack of seeds. And I guess Sam Ryder said, let's sell seeds in a pack, you know, sell a couple of, because people only want a couple of seeds. And Sale was really an umbrella barn. I've never heard that term before. What does that mean? He must have just come up with the idea to sell seeds, you know, a couple of seeds in a package, penny a pack. 1D. I looked into the history of D, for the abbreviation for penny or pence, or, and I've forgotten it now. I've forgotten it. Is it denarius? Is that what it came from? He made his money from umbrellas. Okay, yeah. I thought it was like an umbrella term for a type of baron, not a guy who sold umbrellas. See, this is crazy, right? Like, you know, guy made his money selling umbrellas. But yeah, it's so weird. But he started selling these seed packets, and Sale was a perfect place for it because it was like a middle class kind of town. You know, it wasn't just working class people, and people started to take pride in their gardens. And yeah, that's how it became the successful thing it was. I'm on a tangent here now. Let's go back to the video. Evolve in the same way, for the same purpose, for the same niche. Yeah, so it's not really a case of the Ryders stealing the idea from the Shakers. There's many examples of people inventing the same thing at the same time in completely different places. Like, well, there's a. I was watching a video not long ago about some guy who they claim has the claim to the first powered flight, and that was interesting. Yeah, but there was a lot of people trying to solve the problem of powered flight, and yeah, for two people to come up with the same idea at the same time, or practically the same time, is not unusual. There are several people who have claims to, like, the radio and the telephone, powered flight. Anyway, I'm not going to get into those debates. Not today, anyway. But those things have had several different people invent them at the same time. Yeah, so little 3-year-old Samuel Ryder Jr. would have walked out of the Sale station there to his new life here in Sale. And they eventually ended up down Britannia Road here. Well, Wharf Road, actually. Which is so I'm going to show you some snaps here. This is some snaps from this gets really confusing down Britannia Road, and so this is a map from Sam Ryder's time, and disregard the arrow for the moment. Okay, here we go. So this is Stowey. So you can see there's not a lot going on here in Sale compared to what it is today. So there's Stowey, the leisure center's over here, and that's the B&M. This is Wharf Road, and this is the part that confuses me. So you can see over here, here's the Sale Bridge, and it's quite small. It's only like a single lane. If you watch the video about the Sale Bridge has been widened at least twice. There's a new section on this side and another new section on this side. Like it looks like the railway widened it at one point, and then I guess the town widened it at another point. But this is, sorry, I lost my arrow. This is where Britannia Road would be. It's not on this map. Britannia Road didn't exist in Sam Ryder's time. So their allotments are right here. This is their allotment. And so how did they get to their allotment? They must have crossed the tracks to get to it, because, I mean, you wouldn't want to walk all this way to get to your allotment. You wouldn't want to, but I guess if you had to, you had to. But Britannia Road wasn't here. There was no Britannia Road. And I don't know. Could you walk across the tracks? I mean, it's all barred off nowadays, but I guess back then you could. As I was saying, I grew up in a railway town, and yeah, we could walk the tracks wherever we wanted. It was a game we used to play, walking on the actual rails. You know, you'd get your buddy on one rail and you'd be on the other, and see who could walk the farthest without falling off the rail. All, yeah, we just spent our lives around the railway, playing on the tracks. But that's what we did. So I guess they would just. So this is Stowey. This is their newer house. They owned a house further down Wharf Road. I don't know which one. If somebody wants to look into the records, that'd be nice. One of these houses here, I guess they owned, and it's been torn down since. And yeah, so they lived there on Wharf Road, and like I said, there was no Britannia Road, so they had to walk across the tracks to their allotment. And I'm going to leave it there. I'll just show you one other funny thing I came across, because it's getting late here. I have other work to do, and our stream got interrupted by some kind of glitch. I'm going to show you this photo. Check this out. Anybody recognize this guy? We end up down so many rabbit holes making these videos. And this was a rabbit hole I ended up down. Not a very deep rabbit hole, but I ended up down this rabbit hole. I was looking for some video of the Ryder Cup, and I came across this clip of the Ryder Cup, and they were talking about Jack Hargreaves was a member of the Ryder Cup in 1953, I think it was. And of course, Jack Hargreaves, I know that name. I know that name, Jack Hargreaves. I've just remembered I have a photographic history of Altrincham book if you want. I know nothing else would say all the Tony British as my victory. Yeah, I'd love to have that. Yeah, drop me an email on the. You'll find it on the page there, wickedacorn@gmail.com, and we'll hook up somehow. So if you know Jack Hargreaves, this is not the Jack Hargreaves that was a member of the 1953 Ryder Cup team. Just happens to have the same name. That guy, Jack Hargreaves, was a television presenter and did, I can't remember the names of the programs, but very much of historical interest to me watching his programs. He did, it's all. One thing I learned from him was Coracle, Out of Town it was called. Yeah, it's on YouTube. So I've discovered it on YouTube. And I don't know if it's Coracle or Coracle. And it's a word I don't know. I didn't know the word. But when we did the John Johnson Hunt video at the fire station, they were talking about the coracle. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Coracle escape. It's a ladder on wheels. And I was watching a video of Jack Hargreaves, and he was talking about, he followed this guy making a coracle, which is, a horse-drawn wagon. So I guess a coracle is a wheeled wagon. And when they called it a coracle escape, that's what they meant. It's a wheeled wagon, wheeled ladder. It must be the wheel part, must be the coracle part of it, or it got named that way somehow. Coracle, small Welsh boat made from wicker and tarred canvas. Yeah, I think it also means a type of horse-drawn wagon. Yes, I've seen the Irish coracles, and yeah, it's like a I've seen them made from skin as well over a wicker frame, like hide over a wicker frame. Simple. Yeah, yeah, very similar. Yeah, same. I think it's the same name, but it's a horse-drawn wagon. It must be a wagon. It must mean wagon in I don't know where, but here in Manchester, it was called a coracle escape. So yeah, and Jack Hargreaves followed this guy building a coracle on one of the episodes. A coracle, a horse-drawn wagon. Anyway, Jack Hargreaves was not a member of the 1953 Ryder Cup team, but another guy of the name Jack Hargreaves was a member of the Ryder Cup team in 1953. Yeah, check it out. It's on, like you said, it's on YouTube there. It's one of the episodes on YouTube where he follows a guy building a coracle. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I know coracle, maybe it's curricle. I don't know. I'll have to check that out. Okay, I've got to get back to work. We've uh, lost so much time here with that glitch we had this morning, and yeah. So there's the railway. I was going to show you the railway as well. Anyway, there's lots to talk about this, and we'll come back to it tomorrow and pick up where we left off. Where did we leave off? Let's go back. We're only about 6 minutes in here, and yeah, I don't know how it's spelled. It could be coracle. I've only heard it said, so I don't know how it's spelled. Um, so we'll pick it up there tomorrow. Unfortunately, we had that glitch with the internet there this morning, and oh well, those things happen. Um, okay, I got to get some work done. I got other things to do. Okay, we'll see you in the next one.